Hey guys, welcome back. In the Java video tutorial number 5, I discussed one of the control structures, which is selection structure. In this video, I will discuss the third control structure, which is the repetition structure or statement. Repetition structure is also known as loop. A loop is used in a code if there is part of it that must be repeated. In programming, there are 3 repetition statements, and they are while, do while, and for. And each statement has 2 types, and they are counter controlled and sentinel controlled. But first, let's talk about counter-controlled while loop. Remember that in order for you to do the counter-controlled, you must have 3 things. They are initialized variable, condition, and increment or decrement. Now, to explain further what this is, let's have a simple program. Let's say, for example, I want to print the word Java 5 times. So without using repetition statement, your code will look like this. Okay, so we're gonna have a print line statement, and of course the one that I want to print is Java 5 times. So you might have 5 of these statements. So 2 more, and voila. So you got what you wanted. Display Java 5 times. But the disadvantage of doing this is, what if you have to display the word Java 1,000 times or even more? So your code would be longer than this, right? It's tedious, it's cumbersome. So we might have only one line, okay, one print line statement, but still you have Java several times printed like this, and so on and so forth, but still it's tedious, right? So this is where the loop comes in, to make your code more efficient. Okay, so again, the 3 things that we must have if you want to use counter-controlled loop is, first, the initialized variable. So I'm going to initialize a variable. Now this variable serves as a counter. The reason why this statement is, this type of repetition statement is called counter-controlled, it's because it has a counter that controls the loop. Okay, so I would use the name counter to make sense, because it is the counter. It counts the number of times of the loop, the number of times of the repetition. You can also use CTR just to make it shorter, and like what I said, it is initialized variable, so we have to initialize it to any value you want whenever you want to start counting. So I said 5 times, right? I want to display the word Java 5 times. So where would you like to start counting? At what number would you like to start counting? So me, I want to start counting from, let's say, 1. So if I start from 1, what number should I stop? 5, right? So I would have 5 printing of Java. So we're done with the first requirement to use counter-controlled. Then the second one is what we call condition. Now, like what we did in if statement, so while must have also a condition. So what we call while condition. So we have to write first keyword while, followed by a pair of parentheses, and inside the parentheses is what we call condition, and it is also known as the Boolean expression, and like what we have discussed before, Boolean expression returns either true or false. Now, what would the condition be? What would be the condition here? Okay, so if I start counting from 1, at what number should I stop counting? So 5. So in other words, this print line statement shall be executed while CTR is less than or equal to 5. So if CTR becomes 6, printing stops. Computer stops printing the word Java. Okay? So we are now have the two requirements to use the counter controlled while loop. And then the third and the last requirement for us to do this is what we call the increment or decrement. So what do you think should I use here? Increment or decrement? Oh, by the way, what are we incrementing here? We are incrementing the counter, okay? So initially, our counter is equal to 1. So what should I do for CTR to become 2, 3, 4, 5, and eventually it becomes 6? And if it happens, this will turn false. And if this condition turns false, so the body of the while loop would not be executed anymore. Okay, so again, if I start from 1, if I end at 5, so it must be increment, right? It will not be decrement, because I start from the lowest and then I stop at 5. So you're counting up. You are not counting down. So if you are counting up, of course, we have to increment the counter. So to increment the counter by 1, so you just add 1 to the counter. As simple as that. As simple as that. And then, but there is another way of writing this. What is the other way of writing this? The shortcut. And that is what we call arithmetic assignment operator. We have like this one. Okay, you can do that. Or also you can do the increment symbol like CTR++. This is what we call post increment. And you can also do the pre-increment. So plus CTR. So any of the 4 will do. But of course, in programming, the shorter the better. So I would rather use this one or this one than this one. Okay, so I'm going to use the shorter one. I can use the CTR++. If you want to use plus CTR, it doesn't matter in this example. Okay, so here I have the 3 requirements written. I have the initialized variable, I have the condition, and also I have the increments. Now let's see if this code works. Okay, let me run this. Okay, and voila, Java is printed 5 times like what I wanted. Okay, now how does this work? Okay, so let's start from the first line of the body of the main. So I initialized 1 to CTR. So the next to be executed is the while. Okay, and then the condition of the while is evaluated. So since CTR is 1 and is 1 less than 5, so this Boolean expression returns true. And since this Boolean expression returns true, it goes inside the body of the while, which has 2 lines in this case. And the first line that will be executed is the printing of Java. So Java, the first Java is printed. Okay, and then CTR++. CTR now is incremented by 1. So as of this moment, CTR is now equal to 2. So nothing follows CTR++. So it goes back to the evaluation of the while condition. So is 2 less than 5? So again, this Boolean expression returns true. And if it returns true, it goes inside the body of the while to execute every line, one after the other. So Another printing of Java is done. So you see the second Java, and then CTR is again incremented until the loop goes on and on and on until this becomes false. So when will this condition, when will this Boolean expression return false? When CTR is equal to 6. So if CTR becomes 6, the printing of Java stops. Since nothing follows after the while, so the program stops. Okay, so this is how while a counter-controlled while loop works. Okay, I hope this simple code would help you in so many ways. Until next time, bye bye.